Play when you feeling down on your ism, right? Play this shit right here and resuscitate your pimpin' and get you right back on your mission, right? For you hoes, this that shit you play when you ain't feeling like super hoe today. Play this shit right here and to spark up your hoeing and get you right back going, you dig? Dig this. Pimps for real, don't mistake it for fashion. The turf that birthed my reputation for mashing was the track with active, attractive hoes. Professional goers that attract the dough. Like magnets to metal, never settle. We scorching them fag bitches pedal for them portions. My whores win it all. Not the ones on the sideline wishing but didn't ball in the guidelines. My bitches did it all. Down 7 below in the snow for dough. Over 120 in the sun for fun. They mash for hours, hooker baths, not showers. Bright and early, down and dirty for the cash and power. They gotta get the cash, the towers, and reach it all to a pimp. In my position, I'm all but exempt. These bras not wimps, so you're out. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. See, that's the difference, nigga. The pimpin' mashin' for these riches, nigga. Nothing like you master magician, niggas. Smoking mirrors with your game. Hella extras to reflect the opposite appearance of a lame. Bitches coming from y'all, I can't rock with those. Tender-footed and rooted in them doctor shows. Soft shoe rituals, minute residuals. Papers on life support, your loots and critical. Something I learned about when running my earned route. And working with turnouts is murdering burnouts. Cause knocking one of you niggas for a scar bitch. That's knocking one of you niggas for some garbage. I'm heartless regardless. Empty with sympathy, but banked up to the max with pimpathy. No remedy for me, I'm like this. My life is vice grip, synced in permanent ink. You can't rewrite this. My blood type is P positive, beautifully deposited with a lot of it. I'm popping this shit, and when I pop it so hard I make a trapping ass bad bitch wanna hoe hard. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Come on, pimpin', man, pop that shit. Show these sucker niggas they can't stop that shit. Let these hookers know if they wanna cop that shit. Treat the bag like it's hot, bitch, and drop that shit. And to you hoes, if you ever took a loss, bitch, show these bitches how to bounce back like a boss, bitch. Let them know that the best way to floss, bitch, is reach that paper to some pimpin' hoe and toss it. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Y'all already know what to do, man. Wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Hit that like button, man. We're going to get into this game, man. I don't really like the way the lighting look. But we're going to get into it, though. And it looked like my camera's glitching already, man. Damn. It's always something. We gonna kick this game though. You know, a pimp is on a fast right now. Hold up. Okay, look like we all right. But yeah, I'm fasting right now, man. I'm currently 5 days into my fast. And I'm doing a 7-day fast, so I got 2 more days. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me cool. Somebody saying a little more value. Y'all always say that shit, man, but when I play it back, the volume be cool. Just trying to make sure y'all can hear me good before we get off into this. Get name, man. Okay, y'all saying I'm cool. All right, cool. But yeah, man, like I said, man, I'm currently doing a 7-day fast. I'm 5 days in. If y'all remember, back in October, I did a 5-day fast from the 1st of October to the 5th of October, and I said back then that from now on, every 6 months, I'm gonna do a 7-day fast. Well, I might not have said 7 days, but I did say that every 6 months I'm gonna do a fast. So 6 months later, April 1st, I started my 7-day fast, and it's gonna go through April 7th, and then April 8th I'm gonna break the fast. So yeah, man. I see people already in the chat. I see Easy Peasy talking about free Sheisty. We're gonna talk about that, man, because it's a lot to unpack. Now, you know, I've been seeing people doing their reactions on this situation and all of that, and they cool and, you know, but they not, I ain't seen nobody kick it from a real game perspective. You dig? I ain't really seen nobody really drop the right kind of game about this situation, because there's so much game to be dropped about this. It's so much to learn from this, and it's important because I don't want nobody else making the same mistake that not only Pooh Sheisty, but more importantly, his father made. Come on, man. God damn. God damn. I don't know what's up with my laptop, man. It's moving kind of slow. But anyway, yeah, man, it's a lot of game to unpack in this situation. It's a lot to learn. And hopefully after I kick it, you know, from my perspective, the ism's perspective, a lot of people will learn and see things from a different perspective themselves. Because, man, it's just so much with this situation, man. We're going to get right into it, though. But y'all already know my first order of business, man. I got to put some love in my body. Now, at some point in this video, I'm going to put something other than some love in my body. Because, like I said, I'm fasting right now. I'm not eating any food at all. Only, you know, liquids and certain liquids, right? So the only thing I've been drinking is the love juice, of course, green tea in the morning, and electrolytes. I got different drinks for electrolytes. Like I got the Gatorade Zero that I'm probably gonna drink at some point in this video if I run out of this love, you dig? But the Gatorade Zero is for the electrolytes. It got 0 calories, and so, you know, I ain't got to worry about that interfering with my fast or anything like that. But, you know, the electrolytes are important when you're fasting so that you stay hydrated, and, you know, your equilibrium and everything is on point, you dig? So, yeah, man. Hydrate my game one time, put some love in my body. This big ass glass. It should take damn near a whole bottle. But you know me, I ain't no stranger to love, and I ain't afraid of the love. You know, some people think this shit is nasty, man. I don't know what's wrong with them. I love this shit. Kyle Osiris says maybe touch on the Draco situation with Munchie B and Flacco later on, P. I don't know, man. See, that situation right there is kind of touchy because, you know, there's things that I do want to say about that situation, but it's gonna ruffle a lot of feathers and rub a lot of people the wrong way. But hey, it might need to get done though, man, because That whole situation right there is, I don't even know how to describe it. It's terrible though. But I see y'all up in here. But yeah, man, we're gonna get into this game, man. Now, hold up. Okay, now out of everyone who I've seen do a reaction to this Pooh Shiesty situation, this lawyer right here from the Law and Crime Network, he gave, a pretty good breakdown of things, right? So we gonna do a reaction to his breakdown of this situation. And y'all already know, man. I know y'all been seeing the reactions and y'all know the evidence and all this type of stuff, man. It's crazy. But we gonna get into it though, man. My computer moving kind of slow. I don't know why. I restarted it. I shut down all the shit that don't need to be running right now. And it's still tripping, but let's get into it.
Who believe that using violence and intimidation tactics to
Okay, now we looking better. Okay, hold on.
rob others in our community is a viable way to conduct business.
God damn. Y'all know me.
I'm here to say that it is not, and that if you choose to do this, we'll bring you swiftly to justice.
Wait until you hear not only the allegations, but the evidence, surveillance, Instagram accounts, fingerprints. It is something to say the least. We have the criminal complaint that lays out everything, and we're going to break it all down for you right now. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
Now, I got to start out saying this, right? I got to say this from the gate. Pooh Shiesty, he, as the title suggests, man, he really is the definition of mostly reacting, right? There was zero game involved in this whole situation. And, Pooh Shiesty's a grown man, so he got to be held accountable for whatever he may have allegedly did, right? But who I'm looking at even more crazy, the most crazy, is Pooh Shiesty Sr., his father. You know what I mean? I'm going to call him Pooh Shiesty Sr. I should call Pooh Shiesty Sr., and I should be calling his father Pooh Shiesty Jr., because it seemed like, the son is the father and the father is the son. It's just a totally backwards situation. Like crisscross, you know what I mean? Back in the days, crisscross used to wear their clothes backwards. And now here it is in 2026, you got Pooh Shiesty and his father, they on some backwards shit they damn self, right? But Pooh Shiesty's father, man, out of everybody in this situation, because I'm pretty sure that all 9 of the men who are involved in this shit, with the exception of Pooh Shiesty's father himself, so that leaves 8 other men, I'm pretty sure they was all in their 20s. So they all fairly young. He's old enough to be everybody's father in this shit, right? But because he's old enough to be everybody's father, he should be the voice of reason. He should be the one in the mix that got some game. And for him to involve himself in a situation like this, with no game involved nowhere, oh my goodness. It's ridiculous, man. Like, I'm just like, I've been shaking my head for days ever since this story broke. I've been shaking my head. My head just been like, you know what I mean? Y'all probably remember the movie Weekend at Bernie's back in the day. Weekend at Bernie's 2, where Bernie, the dead body Bernie, he was just walking and he was just like, I just been shaking my head all for days. I just been walking around like this. You know what I mean? Shaking my damn head at this situation, man, because it don't make no damn sense. But, then again, everything ain't to be understood. But let's continue. I just had to say that, man. Pooh Shiesty father, I don't even know what to say about dude, but we're going to continue.
Okay, I have to share this. Some really
God damn.
exciting news, okay? We have spent so much time together here at Long Crime obsessing over every wild twist, late night case that we wanted to find a way to get you even closer to the action. That is why we're finally launching Law and Crime Plus. This is your new go-to spot for thousands of hours of commercial-free episodes.
I don't want to hear about all this. I know you got to get your promo on, but come on, man.
And exclusive case files where you can really dive into the evidence yourself.
God damn.
We really built this for the community of people that stay up late analyzing every detail.
Hold up, man. Give me just a second. Let me see if I can fix something real quick, man, because this is quite ridiculous. Give me just a second, man. And if y'all have not wiped your feet off at the door when you stepped into a pimp's domain, please do so now. Y'all already know what I mean by that. Hit that like button. Wipe your feet off at the door. Well, I see if I can get this shit right, man, because this shit tripping. It must be the spirit of a renegade somewhere around, man, because, like, what is going on? A renegade ghost must be interfering with this live or something, man. That ain't the problem. That ain't the problem. Come on, man. Let me see. Support for the Prince, you stupid. I left the Wi-Fi in Long Beach, huh? Oh, man. I brought the game with me. I brought myself with me. I brought everything with me, man, but I didn't pack the Wi-Fi with me, man. I packed the game in my suitcase when I made my suitcase. I took everything but the Wi-Fi. I made sure I brought some love with me. I brought everything but the Wi-Fi, man. How I do that? Suppose the Prince stupid for that. But let's continue, man. I done did everything that I need to do. But we just gonna continue. Cause y'all gotta hear this shit. I like the way this lawyer broke this shit down.
While waiting for a verdict, so it's just as much as your space as it is ours. Go ahead, download the app, check out the features, let us know what you think. You can head on over to lawandcrimeplus.com today to snag our limited time deal for just $3.99 a month or $40.99 for the year. How do you even make sense of this headline? Rapper Gucci Mane was allegedly robbed and kidnapped by other rappers? So as the Department of Justice puts it in their release statement, quote, this week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, were federally charged for kidnapping and robbing at gunpoint numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas, announced United States Attorney for the Northern District of Texas, Ryan Raybould. 8 of the 9 were arrested in Dallas, Texas and Memphis, Tennessee. The charged defendants include Lontrell Williams Jr., a.k.a. Pooh Sheisty, Lontrell Williams Sr., Rodney Wright Jr., a.k.a. Big 30, Kadarius Waters, Terrence Rogers, Demarion Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, Darian McDaniel. Actually,
man, now, Pooh Shiesty's father is currently sitting in the federal jail. out of everybody, he got to feel like the dumbest individual involved because, again, you old enough to be everybody's father. Now, me, I might be old enough to be some of these dudes' father, but probably not all of them. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I think Pooh Sheisty like 26, 27, something like that. But I'm a lot older than all of these dudes, right? So I'm old enough for guys that age to look up to me. I would feel like a damn fool if I was involved in something like this with all these dudes that's way younger than me and it went down like this. This is the outcome. We all locked up in the feds. Shit crazy.
By the way, there was a press conference held yesterday, and I want you to listen to that moment where they talk about that one person who was missing in this, right? So there's people who's charged, but not everybody had been arrested. So this is United States Attorney for the Northern District of Texas, Ryan Rabel.
One of the individuals that's been charged has not had his initial appearance yet, but agents are actively working to locate and bring him to court.
And I wanted to touch on that actually. Eric Bushman with KRLD. Since there's one person you're still trying to get to come in, I guess it's not an arrest, it's its initial appearance. You had said that you're trying to work out. Because you're going public with this, are you afraid at all that that's going to hinder eventually getting an individual in?
Agents are working to find him. The complaint has already been unsealed, and a number of these defendants have had their public hearing already, their initial appearance, and so it's already out there that this individual has been charged, and so that information is in the public record. But I trust that the agents will be able to identify this person and find them and bring them to justice. Of course, that person can turn themselves in immediately.
And I have a 32-page criminal complaint that was filed in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Texas that I'm going to break down for you as simply as possible.
And man, when y'all hear this breakdown, it's just foolishness. Nothing, I can't think of one smart thing that was done in this whole situation. Every single move was foolish. Every single step taken was a foolish step. There was not one smart move made in this whole situation.
I want you to know the allegations, the potential evidence, the idea about what this case is about. And I got to say this before I even get into it. You're going to understand after I go through this why these individuals were arrested in light of this alleged evidence, but all of them are innocent until proven guilty.
And see, this video right here, me reacting to this is so important, right? Because this is just the times that we live in, right? We live in a time where people will look at a situation like this and be like, man, they stupid, man. I can't believe they did that, man. How could they be so dumb? And then go turn around and do something just as stupid, if not dumber, right? I want y'all to pay attention to this shit, man, because it's about to be a lot of game kicked in this shit, and I'm gonna break this shit down in a way that you know should be helpful and useful to you, especially the young people that's watching and listening. Because like I said, you will sit here and criticize somebody like this for doing something like this, and then turn around and do something just as dumb, if not dumber. Remember, I said that.
I got to say that because, again, you're going to listen to this and you might be saying, wow, the evidence against them is arguably really bad, but nothing has been proved. Okay, with that caveat, let's get into it. So this is an affidavit. It is a sworn statement from an FBI special agent in support of a criminal complaint. And this is the statement of probable cause that crimes were committed. Okay? It starts by claiming that on January 10th, 2026, the victims, who are only identified by initials, by the way, and they include RD, which we have to assume is Gucci Mane because his real name is Radrick Davis, they say they were robbed and kidnapped at gunpoint at a music studio in Dallas, Texas. Now, there was apparently a scheduled meeting between RD and suspect Lontrell Williams Jr. And apparently, this hip-hop artist is known as Pooh Sheisty, and he was reportedly signed to RD's record label 1017 Records. Now, this meeting was reportedly about a contract dispute. This is, again, according to prosecutors.
Hey, man, and see, they got this old-ass picture of Gucci Mane up there. I wish they'd have put a more recent picture of Gucci Mane next to Pooh Sheisty. Now, like I said, Pooh Sheisty is in his 20s, man. I want y'all to pay attention to that shit, too. because that factors into these dumbass decisions that was being made, right? Hey, man, when you not taking care of yourself physically or mentally, this is what you look like, man. Now, this dude is in his 20s, man. The current Gucci man or Gucci Mane looks younger than this Pooh Sheisty right here. Now, that's a pretty recent picture of Pooh Sheisty, right? Look at how old he look. He don't look like he 20-something, man. He got big-ass bags under his eyes and face all inflamed and bloated. You know, he probably doing all the drugs under the sun, eating all the bullshit-ass food. And, you know, believe it or not, all of that factors into, you know, the type of decisions that you make. If you're making bad decisions with what you put in your body, man, you definitely going to make bad decisions with how you interact with people. But let's continue.
Prosecutors. And it seems that Williams Jr. wanted out. So the affidavit claims that when RD and the other alleged victims in this case and others go into this office building, they realize it's closed. So Williams Sr., this is apparently Williams Jr.'s father, was apparently trying to book a recording studio that day for his son and for RD to record music. Williams Sr. was apparently talking to this unidentified individual just known as JN, another player in this, who owns the studio. It's inside this office building. So now you get the geography, what we're talking about here. So the affidavit includes apparent stills from surveillance footage that arguably shows Williams Sr. speaking to someone on the phone outside the building.
And see, that's why I say, you know, this guy right here, Pooh Shiesty's father, how foolish can you be? See, this is, I don't know how everybody doesn't consider this in 2026, especially in the United States. When you step outside, you're under surveillance. The moment you step outside anywhere, you're under surveillance. And in many cases, when you step inside somewhere, you're under surveillance. But you can guarantee that when you step outside, you're being filmed. No matter where you go in the United States, you're being filmed. I don't know how you don't consider that. And then especially a business establishment, every business got cameras inside, outside, especially a studio like this. This is a prestigious studio that they was at in Dallas. They got probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of equipment in that studio. You best believe they got cameras everywhere. If I got a studio that's worth $1 million, it's going to be cameras covering every inch of that place. But let's continue.
I'm going to give you a little preview here. There are a lot of stills in this criminal complaint. And by the way, that helps corroborate the details. It helps corroborate the timeline. It helps corroborate the events that are laid out when you have purportedly time-stamped stills of this surveillance video. Now, an assistant reportedly arrives to help with production at 3:39 p.m. that day, and the affidavit claims that this father and son duo, the Williams, is arguing with somebody on the phone. Okay, they're arguing. And I'm going to read you this verbatim. Quote, at approximately 3:43 p.m., Williams Jr. and Williams Sr., Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, Glover, and McDaniel entered the east side of the office building. The target suspects walked through the lobby area of the office building before going inside the studio. One individual with a dreadlock hairstyle, later identified as Gibson, can be seen on video exiting the office building and shortly thereafter returning with a bag slung over his shoulder. Again, embedded in this complaint are...
Look at these fools. All you dummies is on camera. Every last one of you dumb motherfuckers is on camera. Look at this shit. They look like they up to no good. Everybody got on black. Man, see, everybody different, man. I wouldn't give a damn Pooh Sheisty, Pooh Nicety, Pooh Heisty, whoever the fuck. I don't give a damn how many platinum gold records you got, how many streams you got. I wouldn't give a damn about none of that. Hey, man, y'all not coming into my establishment with all these black clothes and hoodies and shit on. Nah, y'all can't get in. You know what I mean? I don't know what Gucci Mane was wearing, but if he came with all this black shit with 20 niggas, he not getting in neither. I don't give a damn who you is. I'm not you know, call me light skinned, call me bougie, whatever, or call me uppity, whatever you want to call me, man. Hey, I'm not letting you niggas in my establishment, man, with all these black clothes on, man. Y'all need to go somewhere and change. You know what I mean? You're not about to bring all this dark ass energy into my shit. You niggas look like you up to no good. You don't look like rappers. You look like robbers. I'm not letting y'all in, man.
The apparent surveillance stills, okay? Now, the affidavit claims they go into the studio where the victims were, the alleged victims were, and there are stills, by the way. They included the studio lobby, the control room, the recording room. And at one point, it is alleged that Williams Jr., who was, by the way, I was blown away by this detail, was allegedly wearing an ankle monitor.
I was blown away by that detail as well. But see, not too blown away. I mean, I'm blown away by the fact that Pooh Sheisty, this successful rapper, did all of this dumbass shit with an ankle monitor on. You know, I was blown away by the fact that it was Pooh Sheisty. But, you know, I wasn't really too surprised that a nigga went to go commit a crime with an ankle monitor on, because you'd be surprised at how common that is nowadays. It's a lot of dudes that be going on missions, that be going on field trips with the ankle monitor on. It's a lot of dudes that be going to unalive somebody with the ankle monitor on. You'd be surprised. It sounds stupid as hell, and it is stupid as hell. And you would think nobody in their right mind who know their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, you wouldn't think anybody that with that much little bit of sprinkle of intelligence would be dumb enough to go do some shit like that. But man, it's a lot of little young dudes going to do shit with the ankle monitor on. And I don't even know what to call that. We're gonna have to think of another word. You know how they named the ski mask after Pooh Sheisty? You know what I mean? Now everybody say, man, he had the Pooh Sheisty on. We're gonna have to come up with a new term for stupidity, and we're gonna have to call it the Pooh Sheisty. Like, man, that nigga Pooh Sheisty than the motherfucker, man. This old Pooh Sheisty ass bitch, man. Whoopty whoopty whoop. That's the new term for stupidity. Pooh Sheisty. Remember, you heard it from Freeze first, man. The new term for foolishness, stupidity, idiocy, any of that, Pooh Sheisty. Don't say stupid no more. Don't say dumb. Don't say foolish. Say Pooh Sheisty. This boy Pooh Sheisty is hell, man.
Okay, goes to speak to RD privately about the contract. I'll talk about the ankle monitor in a second. But there is allegedly an argument, and it ends up with Williams Jr. being accused of taking out a black.
I just can't get over how old this boy look, man. He do not look like he in his mid-20s. God damn, man, y'all got to start taking care of yourselves, man. Shit crazy.
AK-style pistol and pointing it at RD, allegedly demanding he sign the contract release paperwork. Now, RD allegedly complied, signed it. Again, we're assuming this is Gucci Mane. And there was the claim that RD, seemingly Gucci Mane, was not allowed to leave as he was being held at gunpoint. There are allegations that Wright allegedly recorded RD signing the paperwork and being forced to say he released Williams Jr. from the contract.
See, that's some Pooh Shiesty ass shit. How Pooh Shiesty can you be? You holding Gucci Mane. This ain't no unknown, low profile individual. This is a high profile individual, as you are yourself with your Pooh Shiesty ass. But you're a high profile rapper, and you're holding another high profile rapper hostage. You know what I mean? Not letting him move around at his own free will, which that's how the kidnapping charge come into play. But you have an ankle monitor on, which is one of several things that places you at the scene for show. On top of that, you got the thing on him, and you're recording him signing this contract with the thing on him and saying out of his mouth that he releases you from the contract. Now, I would hope, the video is already Pooh Shiesty as hell, to record somebody while you committing a crime of that magnitude, it's some Pooh Shiesty ass shit. But what would make it even more Pooh Shiesty, that I hope is not that Pooh Shiesty, is that if he had the gun somewhere in the video, like if he had himself or the gun, or if he's talking within the video with his voice, even that much more placing him at the crime scene, boy, man, it's like just when you think something done got as Pooh Shiesty as it could get, you know, as Sugar Free say, it's an underground, you know, secret Pooh Shiesty basement with more Pooh Shiesty shit up in there. You know what I mean? Man, this shit crazy.
And then afterwards, it's alleged that Williams Jr. took RD's wedding ring and watch and earrings and cash. I do wonder if they have that video. Okay, I do wonder if they have that. But I'm going to read.
And that shit is dumb as hell. Like, you a rapper, dude. You not struggling financially. Why would you commit a robbery with an ankle monitor on? You took the man's wedding ring. You took his watch. You took his jewelry. Man. And see, like I said, the whole time that all of this is going on, the man that I'm looking at the most crazy is his father, Pooh Shiesty's father, because how are you at the age that you at? He got to be, I would imagine, in his late 40s, if not 50s. How can you be at that age and participate in something like this? And then furthermore, let your successful rapper son participate in some shit like this? How could you be there? How could you stand by and allow your son? I know he a grown man, but you know, he obviously didn't try to sway him the right way, because as you're going to see, as we continue in this video, not only was his father like there and, you know, he was a part of it, he was involved. He stupid as hell. Pooh Shiesty as hell. I gotta extract the words stupid, foolish, dumb. I gotta extract all them words out of my vocabulary and replace them with Pooh Shiesty.
Read you verbatim again from the complaint. Waters, Rogers, Johnson, Glover, McDaniel, and Gibson produced handguns or AR-AK style pistols and began to demand property from BP and MM. BP was pushed onto a couch in the control room while an individual known to BP as CMO Damn Pooh.
And CMO Damn Pooh, I mean, I would have to say Pooh Shiesty is the most Pooh Shiesty in this situation because he's Pooh Shiesty. But this dude, CMO Damn Pooh, he trying to give Pooh Shiesty a run for his money as to who's the most Pooh Shiesty in this situation. Because CMO Damn Pooh, he got the right name because he's a damn fool. And y'all gonna see how much of a damn fool he is as this continues. That boy, man, everybody is just stupid. How can everybody be this dumb in this? Oh my goodness, this shit is crazy. It's amazing. It's like you would think this shit is fake how Pooh Shiesty it is. It's so Pooh Shiesty, it's like, nah, this can't be real, man. This is skit, man. The feds, the rappers, everybody involved in this one big ass skit, man, for publicity or something, man. This can't be real. It's real, unfortunately.
And part of Williams Jr.'s crew searched his pockets and stole his wallet. BP's chain and a necklace were stolen from his neck. McDaniel threatened to shoot BP for moving, but Williams Jr. instructed McDaniel not to. MM was choked from behind to the point of nearly losing consciousness during the kidnapping and robbery, resulting in scratches on his neck and wrist. Now, embedded in the complaint are what appear to be photos seemingly showing cuts or abrasions.
And see, they got the little cuts and bruises and things blurred out on this one. But as you can clearly see, that is a white man. This is what makes this shit even more stupid. This is a white man, you know, and it's no disrespect to white people, but it's just the truth, right? White people tend to be raised, obviously, with a different outlook when it comes to law enforcement than black people, right? White people are raised to believe that law enforcement is there to help you. Law enforcement is your friend. When you in need and you have nobody to turn to, you call law enforcement. They're going to come to your aid. They're going to help you resolve the issue. You know, they're going to protect you. They're going to serve you. This is how white people grow up thinking. So when a crime is committed, a white person's first thought is to call the police. Black people, not so much. You got some black people, obviously, that will call the police. But one thing for sure, you do something to a white person, they calling the police 9 times out of 10. Not all white people. You got some hood-ass, street-ass white people too. But I'm talking about the majority in America. Most white people, if you do something to them, they calling the police. And not only did you do this to this white man and this high-profile rapper, but you had a security guard on Gucci's behalf this, you know, affiliated with law enforcement. Pooh Sheisty as hell.
On MM's neck and wrist, and there is a claim that his wallet and watches and a Louis Vuitton bag and headphones were stolen. And if you're wondering about the security, right? Didn't they have security with him? Well, the claim is that the victim's security realized they were outnumbered and outgunned. It goes on to say, quote, RD was pushed onto the couch in the control room. Again, we're talking seemingly about Gucci Mane, causing the victims to believe they were going to be executed. Williams Jr. placed the barrel of a firearm to the back of BP's head and ordered him and RD to leave the control room in the studio through the west entrance of the office building. RD then instructed CW and TD to escort them to their vehicle.
This shit's crazy. I'm just trying to picture Pooh Sheisty putting a Draco to the back of Gucci Mane's head and saying, go this way, do this, do that. This is Gucci Mane. You know what I mean? This ain't some, you know, D-boy that call himself Gucci or some gangster that call himself Gucci. This is the famous rapper Gucci Mane. Crazy.
As the victims left, MM turned to Williams Jr. and asked him if they were really taking his watches. Based on later recovered surveillance video footage, the target suspects left the studio and the office building through the east entrance at approximately 4:48 p.m. And from there, the affidavit lays out the photos of the alleged suspects purportedly leaving the building and also the cars that were believed to be connected to them traveling northbound. Now, how did they find the alleged suspects? So this is really interesting. We're going to start with vehicle identification. So the affidavit claims that Wright's father owns a 2020 Dodge Charger Hellcat with Tennessee plates. The authorities apparently use license plate readers to track the Charger following another car, a Dodge Ram. We're talking about 2:18 p.m. on January 10th. And they claim that that Dodge Ram looks like the one on surveillance video near the crime scene later that afternoon. They apparently used license plate readers to also link the Charger traveling very close to a white Buick Enclave, and using rental records, they determined that the Enclave was rented by Williams Sr.
So Pooh Shiesty's father, see, like I said, you know, the youngsters, even though they all grown, they still fairly young. And to be honest with you, you know, people nowadays don't mature nearly in the same way, with the same quality that people in the past matured with. Why? Because you got all these devices doing everything for you. And then you got all these, social media apps and what have you distracting you. So you don't use your brain in the same type of way that people use their brain in the past, right? For most young people, not all, most young people, right? So even though these dudes is in their 20s, you know, you can tell by their behavior that they have the maturity level of like middle schoolers. So with that being said, the dude Wright going to do this mission in a car that's registered in his father's name, you know, it's Pooh Shiesty as hell, but it's like, it ain't no surprise because, you know, the era that you grew up in. But Pooh Shiesty's father, though, you go to do this mission, this already stupid as hell in every which way you look at it. You go to do this with a rental car that's registered in your name? How do you not think about everything being recorded? See, back in the days, right, when gangsters used to go do missions, they used to go with what was called butt naked. You know what I mean? When you're going to do some dirt, you're supposed to go butt naked, meaning you don't take no ID with you, you don't take no phone with you, you don't take nothing that you can be identified by with you when you go to do some dirt. You're supposed to go butt naked. You know what I mean? These dudes came the total opposite. They came overdressed. They didn't go butt naked nowhere, man. They came overdressed to the function. They want you to know who it is. That's what you would think. The way they did all this shit, it's like they wanted to be identified. They wanted to get caught. They wanted to be known. They wanted to go to jail. Shit dumb as hell.
Let's go to electronic location monitoring. Remember when I said the ankle monitor for Williams Jr.? Well, apparently, he was serving a sentence for federal drug and weapons charges. Home detention, had to wear an electronic monitoring device. So they're able to use location data from that device to seemingly track his apparent movements near the crime scene. And then the affidavit claims that Williams Sr. and Williams Jr. went to a Staples store early.
Now this shit right here is some of the dumbest shit. Everything is Pooh Sheisty as hell, but this is some of the most Pooh Sheisty ass shit in this whole shit, man. The father and the son go to Staples and do this dumb ass shit.
Earlier in the day. Why? The allegation is to print off the contractual release paperwork, which again was a key part of this whole alleged dispute and incident. Now the feds say surveillance video and GPS data put them there. Cell phone records, you know.
And see, that's comments like this is exactly why I'm doing this video. They should have used fake plates. No, they shouldn't have used fake plates. They shouldn't have done this dumbass Pooh Shiesty ass shit at all. The complete everything about it is Pooh Shiesty as hell. They shouldn't have used no damn. This is Pooh Shiesty we talking about. Going to do this to Gucci Man. They shouldn't have. Fake plays. Come on, man. See, this is the shit that I'm talking about. You know, and it's no disrespect to you, but you probably one of them same people that's sitting up there shaking your head like, man, how could they be so stupid? And you talking about they should have used fake license plates. No, they shouldn't have done this stupid ass shit at all.
No, these are always key in a criminal investigation, right? I'm going to read you verbatim what it says. Stay with me. This is a big part. Investigators obtained cell phone records for Williams Jr., Williams Sr., Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, and Gibson. And
so out of the 9 individuals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at least, man. Oh, and then the other 2, they cell phone records was pending. So, like I said, they supposed if you're gonna do some shit like this, you're supposed to go butt naked, man. You're supposed to go with nothing that's able to identify you or you could be identified by. Every last one of these idiots, especially the old man, Pooh Shiesty's father, got their cell phone on them, man, going to do this shit, man. God damn.
And telematics location data and records for the Dodge Charger Hellcat and the Dodge Ram. Records indicate Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, and Gibson traveled together from Memphis, Tennessee to Dallas, Texas in the Dodge Charger Hellcat and the Dodge Ram. They left Memphis on January 8th, 2026 and arrived in Dallas in the early morning hours of January 9th, 2026. The data from Glover's electronic monitoring device aligns with these cell phone records.
Oh, wait a minute. So Glover had an ankle monitor on as well. Let me go back a little bit.
Dallas in the early morning hours of January 9th, 2026. The data from Glover's electronic monitoring device aligns with these cell phone records.
Damn, so not only did Pooh Shiesty have an ankle monitor on. God damn. This shit ain't funny, man, but it's just amazing to me, man. These people are amazingly stupid. You got at least two niggas involved in this whole shit with ankle monitors on? Oh my goodness. God damn, this
Shit is crazy.
On January 10th, 2026, from approximately 2:28 p.m. to approximately 2:46 p.m., Williams Jr.
I mean, if you're going to be this reckless and this stupid, if you're going to go this far, why would you not cut the ankle monitor off? You putting yourself in a hell of a situation as it is. Why would you not cut the ankle monitor off? What's wrong with you? Even the father, like, you know, it's different levels of stupid. You know what I mean? But you could have been a little bit, you know, lower level of stupidity by saying, hey, son, you know what I mean? I don't advise this shit, man. But if you're going to do this shit, man, at least cut that ankle monitor off, man. Tell your homeboy cut his shit off too, man. Y'all niggas cut them ankle monitors off, man. We're going to go do this shit, man. That's still stupid, but it's not as Pooh Sheisty as going to do this shit with the ankle monitor on, man. That's some Pooh Sheisty ass shit.
Williams Sr., Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, the Dodge Charger Hellcat, and the Dodge Ram were in the area of the Windrose Tower, a location Williams Jr. resided prior to moving. They all traveled together to the area of a fence location, meaning the crime scene, arriving at approximately 3 p.m. The data from Williams Jr.'s electronic monitoring device and location information for the Buick Enclave align with the cell phone records.
Just think about this shit, right? You're going to a recording studio. You and 8 of your homies, or 9 of y'all 9 deep. You're going to a recording studio with weapons to shake down Gucci Mane. And 2 of y'all got ankle monitors on. All 9 of y'all got cell phones on you. And 2 of the vehicles at least are registered in either the people's name that's there or relatives of the people that's there. Like, and then you're going to a place that has cameras covering every inch of the place. And you're doing this to a high profile, you know, celebrity rapper. And at least 2 of the 9 individuals are rappers themselves. Like, if you really just break this shit down, nobody had, like, they took everything with them except for their brain. How you gonna leave your brains in Memphis? Everybody left their brains. Everybody got on the highway, man, drove to Dallas, and everybody left their brains in Memphis, man. How y'all gonna do this shit, man? Leave your brains in Memphis, man. Everybody left their brains in Memphis. This shit is crazy. I don't even know how you was able to do that. You couldn't have took your brains with you, though. These fools jumped on the highway, drove from Memphis to Dallas, and went and did all this shit, and they packed everything with them. They got Dracos and shit in the bag, duffel bag. Why you didn't put your brains in the duffel bag, man? Why you didn't put your brains in the trunk of the car, man? Why you didn't take your brains nowhere with you, man? This shit is crazy. Left their damn brains in Memphis, man. This shit crazy.
Williams Jr., Williams Sr., Wright, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, the Dodge Charger Hellcat, and the Dodge Ram traveled together from the area of the offense location, leaving at approximately 4:50 p.m. to the area of the Star in Frisco, Texas, arriving at approximately 5:07 p.m. Look how exact this is. Williams Jr., Williams Sr., Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, and Gibson utilized towers with coverage that includes the Star until...
Man, these niggas brought the whole Wu-Tang Clan, man. They got the RZA, the Jizza, Method Man, Ghostface Killer, Raekwon, the U-God, Master Killer, Inspector Deck, the Old Dirty Bastard. Man, these niggas brought the whole Wu-Tang Clan, man. How you niggas deep as the Wu-Tang Clan, man, going to do some shit like this, man? Shit crazy. You know, it wasn't even enough microphones for everybody to perform. You know what I mean? How you know, it don't even take this many people to do a mission like this, man. This shit is crazy.
Until approximately 9:30 p.m. The data from Williams Jr.'s electronic monitoring device and location information for the Buick Enclave aligned with the cell phone records. Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, the Dodge Charger Hellcat, and the Dodge Ram.
Now every time they say them names, I'm gonna think of that. The Jizza, the RZA, Ghostface Killer, Raekwon, you got. These niggas brought the whole Wu-Tang Clan with them, man. That shit crazy.
I have to keep repeating it because I think it's important that you identify the different parties here and the different sources of location. Traveled together from the area of the Star in Frisco to the area of Williams Jr. and Williams Sr. remained in the area of the Star overnight. Goes on to say, cell phone records indicate that on January 13, 2026, Wright, Johnson, and Waters traveled together with the Dodge Ram from Dallas, Texas to Memphis, Tennessee. So, if these allegations are true, you are seeing firsthand in detail how difficult it is in 2026 in an urban environment to commit a crime and not be tracked. This is a digital world. Digital prosecution, and it can be very tough for defense attorneys to argue against the reliability of.
Yeah, man, like you got all this electronics on you, and then you got all these electronics working against you. You have things on you that's going to work against you, and then you have things beyond your control that's going to work against you, like license plate readers, cameras every damn where. Shit crazy. You doing this to white people and police officers and shit, man. This shit crazy.
This data, particularly if you're combining different forms of data, cell phone with surveillance, with GPS monitoring, right? But you heard the Comfort Inn, by the way, according to the affidavit. The Comfort Inn records confirm, or allegedly confirm, that Gibson paid for 4 rooms at the hotel.
So you getting hotels in your name, just putting you in the city. You know, I already know the hotels. Not only do they have, receipts of everything, but they have cameras at hotels too. They probably got cameras in the hallway. They for sure got cameras in the parking lot and in the lobby. Shit crazy.
You have financial records, documentation. Investigators reviewed surveillance footage from the Comfort Inn and observed.
And of course, I'm sure you use your credit card that's in your name, showed them your ID. A lot of them hotels be photocopying your ID. Shit crazy.
Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, Glover, McDaniel inside the Comfort Inn, all clad in clothing similar to what the suspects in the kidnapping and robbery appeared to be wearing. And in the affidavit are literal side-by-side comparisons of the alleged players, what they were seemingly wearing at the crime scene versus what they were seemingly wearing at the Comfort Inn. Again, all allegations, but you see why this is building up. Now, there's also a section about how investigators found prints, so we're talking fingerprints, latent prints, of Gibson and Rogers on these red Solo cups too that were apparently left at the crime scene. We move on to social media. This one's next level, okay?
Next level Pooh Sheisty, indeed. What you about to hear right now, if you standing up, you might want to sit down because it might knock you off your feet. How Pooh Sheisty this shit right here is. This boy, what do you call it? Something damn fool. It was a CMO damn fool. You about to see how much of a damn fool he is.
Okay. So apparently investigators compare the descriptions of Williams Jr. from the victims, like how they described him, to an Instagram account at Pooh Sheisty. And investigators say it shows a match. And they end up doing that for Williams Sr. and Wright and Waters, and how even there are photos apparently of them together online, and how they even match state IDs with these accounts too. And I got to call out Rogers here. Quote, on surveillance footage from the offense location, the individual believed to be Rogers can be seen exiting the building carrying what appears to be the Louis Vuitton bag MM reportedly stolen. On January 15, 2026, so just a few days later, Rogers posted a video on @DamnFool375 showing him wearing a Rolex GMT Master 2 with an oyster steel band that appears visually similar to the watch stolen from MM, who provided investigators with photographs, a receipt, and the serial number for the stolen watch.
God damn, how much of a damn fool can you be? You stole this white man's watch, his Louis bag, and then you gonna post the shit on your Instagram wearing it. Excuse my pimping.
Additional posts on @DamnFool375 show Rogers wearing shoes similar to those he wore during the offense.
So you on camera, on video, at the crime scene with this particular pair of shoes on. See, again, you know, these dudes, I mean, if you're gonna commit crime, man, at least bring your brain with you. Because what was supposed to happen, let's just say me, if I go do some dirt of that magnitude, I'm burning everything that I was wearing. Them shoes is gonna be in ashes. Them clothes that I had on, ashes. All that shit gotta get burnt. Why do you still have these shoes that you committed this type of crime in? And you're still wearing them?
And they embed photos allegedly showing this too. From Glover's Instagram, here's a sample. January 11th, 2026, a story featuring a large amount of cash, a Rolex visually similar to the one stolen from MM, and a location tag of Dallas, Texas.
Oh, so you niggas, they so damn lame, they passing the watch. Hey, bro, let me wear that shit real quick. Let me take some pictures for my IG, man. All right, cool. Now go ahead. This is a stolen ass watch, and y'all sharing this shit, taking pictures for your IG. God damn, man, this is some Pooh Sheisty ass shit.
Texas, January 17th, 2026. A story showing Glover with a Rolex that appears identical to the one stolen from MM, stating he got a new rope, believed to be slang for watches or necklaces. January 19th, 2026. Videos of Glover wearing a necklace with a 1017 pendant that appears identical to the one stolen from BP. So the allegation being you didn't only steal all this, you flaunted it. Now, defense attorneys would say, not the same necklace, they own this. These are kind of rare items, though, particularly if you're talking about that Rolex. And I'm sure they could have a dispute about whether or not these items were actually stolen or not. But again, timing, circumstances, the potential rarity of these items, something to keep in mind. Innocent until proven guilty. Now, something else that I have to note that may be used as evidence later on. So when you apparently go to these guys' like Instagram pages, from what I could see, they're pretty much scrubbed. They might have a couple posts still up, but that appears to be it. You know,
See, what happened was, like I said, when they drove to Dallas, they took everything with them except for their brains. They left their brains in Memphis. So they all the way in Dallas with their brains in Memphis. And then they do all of this dumbass shit. They go back to Memphis. They put their brains back in their heads. Well, before they put their brains back in their heads, they post all this dumbass shit on Instagram. Then they put their brains back in their heads and say, damn, we need to delete that shit. It's too late. You were supposed to take your brains with you from the gate, because if you took your brains to Dallas with you, you probably wouldn't even took y'all dumbasses to Dallas, because your brain would have made you think, and if you would have thought, you would have realized how stupid this whole mission was. Goofy ass.
Sheisty still has a lot on it, so it's kind of hard to tell if stuff is gone from that. But if prosecutors can prove that they deleted stuff to potentially destroy evidence or try to hide from authorities, that will be interesting. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe it was deleted after their arrest for some reason or after the charges. I don't really know, but it's something I've noticed. And then in this paperwork, they do something that I think is really interesting, and I'll just say kind of refreshing, because in this criminal complaint, at least for my analysis purposes, they really list out the evidence against each defendant very clearly. So for example, Lontrell Williams Jr., eyewitness accounts state that Williams Jr. brought RD into the recording studio and demanded that RD sign the release contract at gunpoint before taking RD's wedding ring, watch, earrings, and cash. Eyewitness accounts also place Williams Jr. in the room when the additional kidnapping and robberies of MM and BP occurred. Cell phone records, electronic location monitoring, and surveillance footage place Williams Jr. at the offense location. Electronic location monitoring data also places Williams Jr. at a Staples location with his father, believed to be printing the termination contract prior to arriving at the offense location. And they do this again for every one of the defendants, and then it goes on to say, based on the facts set forth above, there is probable cause to believe that on January 10th, 2026, 26 in the Dallas Division of the Northern District of Texas, DeMarcus Glover, Demarion Gibson, Corday Johnson, Darian McDaniel, Terrence Rogers, Kadarius Waters, Lontrell Williams Jr., Lontrell Williams Sr., and Rodney Wright Jr. conspired to and committed kidnapping in violation of 18 USC 1201A and C. By the way, when you hear like that they're together in the same room while there's other robberies going on, that's the agreement, right? Conspiracy is an agreement to commit a crime, and what were the overt steps taken in furtherance of that agreement. And my understanding, if convicted, each defendant faces a sentence of up to life imprisonment. This is again according to the DOJ. I mentioned this before, I'll mention it again. There was a press conference that was held, and it happened yesterday. I want to play you some more sound from it, okay? It fills in some of the details. And again, this is the United States Attorney when asked about the victims, and I think it's interesting what he says.
This case really underscores the importance of standing up for crime victims, no matter who they are or where they come from. And the incredible collaborative, investigative partnerships that we have, not only in the Northern District of Texas, but across the country. And we are all working together to make our country safer. As far as victims go, we won't get into, at this time, who the victims are or not. I'm not going to get into the victim stuff at this time. I think that more will be coming out there that will help clarify, but I'm not at liberty at this stage of the investigation to disclose that.
Yeah, so at the time of this recording, authorities haven't come out and absolutely said this allegedly happened to Gucci Mane. There are protections of victims in every state and every prosecution, so you have to keep that in mind. But you know how I mentioned the evidence, right? This is the U.S. Attorney talking about that evidence and the punishment.
That was one of the reasons I wanted to list off some of the evidence that has been uncovered to date. A lot of this was subpoena work, search warrant work, and things like that in order to develop the investigation. And so the agents here with me, the agents out in the field, it takes a little bit of time to identify who did this offense and build a case so that we feel comfortable bringing the charges. So actually that's pretty quickly for a federal case of this gravity and this nature. And so I'm very proud of the investigative work, and it will continue.
Y'all didn't do no hell of a job. These niggas was just hell of a stupid. He like, I'm really proud because they, a case of this magnitude, that's fairly quickly. Yeah, it was quick because they made it a slam dunk for you. See, the thing, man, about nowadays, man, like technology works in their favor so much, man. Law enforcement don't even have to do no hell of a work, man. All they got to do is just sit back and let you hang yourself. Because most of these niggas out here committing crimes is going to hang themselves. They're going to do something stupid, extremely stupid, within the crime. So, yeah, that's why they was able to, resolve this case or bring everybody into custody so quick, because everybody left their brains in Memphis when they drove to Dallas to do this shit.
From this office, as well as our FBI and our local police department.
If convicted of these charges, these arrests, how serious are these crimes? What do these people face?
They're facing a range, so there's no mandatory minimum in this case. It's a range of punishment, and it'll be in the province of the judge, whoever gets the case. But it could be from 0 all the way to life imprisonment. And as you know, a lot of what will guide what's called the sentencing guidelines will be the individual's previous criminal history, the fact that one of these individuals committed the offense while on home confinement, so actually serving a federal offense. Assuming that individual is convicted, that will be an aggravating factor for sure.
Big case, big developments, big evidence. We'll continue to monitor what happens next. But that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Continue to monitor what happens.
Man, this shit right here is so damn stupid. It don't make no sense. Now we're going to kick some game about this shit, man. If you have not already wiped your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain, please do so now. Hit that like button, man. We about to get to this game, man. About this shit. Give me just a second. right. First time y'all about to see me drink something live other than love. Well, this is love. It's just another form of love. It might be a little slushy because I had it in the freezer. Just a second. Got to get them electrolytes in, man. For those of y'all just tapping in, man, Freeze on a 7-day fast right now. We in day 5. And day 5 is coming to a close, so we about to cut into day 6. But it's a 7-day fast that I'm doing right now. The only thing I'm putting in my body is love. It's H to the Izzo. You know, Gatorade, electrolytes, 0 with 0 calories in it, and some green tea, and some apple cider vinegar. I forgot to mention that earlier. I've been drinking apple cider vinegar as well. That's the only thing I'm putting in my body, man. For 7 days. 0 food, man. 0 food. Zero calories. You dig? But back to this game, though, that we never left, man. You know, in the words of my brother, Sinful to P. Hold on, got to do it.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
That we never left, man. Hey, listen. See, this is something that, this is why I got to come on here and kick this type of game, because, you know, I see a lot of people from our community, meaning the black community, covering this topic, but I don't really see anybody kicking the necessary game about this shit that should be kicked. So dig this, man. Listen. You know, first of all, when you're a young man like Pooh Sheisty and you get blessed with certain opportunities, man, you have to evolve. I know we all come from, you know, certain type of backgrounds and things like that, but this is when you're supposed to evolve, especially after what you've been through. You grew up in the hood, most likely. You're from Memphis, so ain't no telling what type of shit you done been through within your life coming up in Memphis up until the point that you become a famous, successful rapper, right? So that's enough shit that you done been through. Then on top of that, after you become a successful, famous rapper, excuse my pimping, you catch a case and you go to the feds for what was he locked up, like 4 years or something like that? 5 years? He did some years as a famous rapper. So throughout that whole time, you should be thinking about how you gonna move better, how you gonna see things. You're supposed to evolve within that time that you're sitting down, right? And then when you get out, you're supposed to be moving on a better note. You're supposed to be an example of, you know, redemption. You're supposed to be an example of growth, evolution. But instead, you're an example of Pooh Sheistiness, right? So, you know, what Pooh Sheisty should have been on is like, okay, I don't want to be in this contract with 1017 Records anymore. What is the best way to go about it? Hey, even if you don't know what to do, hey, man, even though I don't move like that when it comes to making important decisions, man, but hey, ChatGPT or Gemini or any of that shit could have told you something, gave you a better game plan than the shit you did. Seriously. It sound funny. It sound like a joke, but I guarantee you that Gemini or ChatGPT or Grok or one of them damn AI apps could have gave him something better to do, could have gave him a better solution to this problem than the shit that he did, right? But, you know, you signed a legal contract, you know, recognized by the court of law as legit. So if you sign a legal contract, you're supposed to have a legal solution to getting out of that contract. Now, if it was some some gangster shit, if you made a gangster deal, then the solution could, be some gangster shit. But this wasn't a gangster deal. This was a business deal, a legitimate registered business deal. So you got to have a legitimate resolution to this issue. Like I said, when we come from the hood, we used to just, especially when you have a background of being aggressive, because you be in aggressive environments, dealing with aggressive people, so you become aggressive yourself. This wasn't an aggressive situation. This is not where aggression was called for. You don't get aggressive when you're dealing with famous rappers and contracts and millions of dollars and all this type of shit. There's no need for aggression. There's no room for aggression. This is where some game was supposed to come into play. And that's why I'm looking at Pooh Shiesty's father crazy, because it's like, dude, how do you partake in something like this? How are you involved in something like this? And in some aspects of it, quarterbacking something like this. How do you take your son to go draw up this contract or this release form to get him released from the contract, and then take him to go do the shit that he did? How do you do that? See, this is why I wanted to do this video, because a lot of us in the black community in America, we emotionally react to everything. And this wasn't anything but a big emotional reaction. There was no mental response whatsoever in this situation. There was nobody in the mix that was like, well, hold on, man. It got to be a better way we can go about this. What's the legal route? And I know Pooh Shiesty, it was probably some things that led up to this, right? He probably simply asked Gucci, like, hey, man, I don't want to be in this contract no more, man. What can I do to get out this contract? And Gucci might have been on some bullshit, but we don't know. Or Gucci might not have been on some bullshit and said, hey, you know what? I ain't got no problem releasing you from this contract, but before I release you from this contract, you got to fulfill, A, B, C, whatever. You got to make good on such and such before I release you from this contract. Because you never know. Gucci might not have been fully recouped. He might not have, made back all the money that he invested in Pooh Shiesty, which I would imagine that he did. But them contracts be shady. So he probably did technically make back the money that he invested in Pooh Shiesty, but them contracts be having sliding scales and shit like that, man. It's smoke and mirrors and all that. So as far as the documentation goes, it might look on paper like Pooh Shiesty ain't recouped. So Gucci, I would imagine, probably if they did go through those steps first before it got to this point, I could imagine Gucci was like, yo, if you want to get out this contract, man, you're going to have to do whoop, whoop, whoop. And then after you do whoop, 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 I'll release you from the contract. You be all good. Right? Because Gucci ain't a Jewish man. Now, a Jewish man, you're going to be asked out. But Gucci, he a nigga, man. So I would imagine he has some type of empathy for Pooh Shiesty wanting to get out his contract. Like, yeah, I'll let you out, man. Just do this first. Pooh Shiesty obviously didn't want to do whatever Gucci wanted him to do, so he got aggressive. But see, this is where accountability comes into play, because whatever the case is, how he put a gun to Gucci's head to make him sign them papers. Gucci didn't put a gun to your head to make you sign that contract. Gucci didn't do that. Gucci didn't pull up on you with the Draco, put it to your head, say, hey, man, sign this contract. That wasn't done. Gucci went about it like a businessman. So, obviously, my estimation is that Pooh Sheisty didn't understand fully what he was signing when he signed it, like a lot of young cats do. You know, I could imagine, you know, he a kid from Memphis. You got Gucci Mane wanting to sign you. You just probably just didn't even look at the shit, didn't read nothing, didn't take it to a lawyer, have a lawyer run through it and explain it to you. Your dumbass father, I know he didn't, you know, try to give you no game about the situation. So you just signed the contract and more than likely didn't understand what you were signing when you signed it. So as a man, you have to take accountability for that. Like, damn, you know what? I don't want to, you know, fulfill what I'm supposed to fulfill with this contract, but I signed it though. You know, and if there's no type of legal way that you can go about it, if you can't get some lawyers involved to help you get out of the contract, then you just got to fulfill what you're supposed to fulfill with the contract. That's just some man shit. Right? But this wasn't the way to go about it. You know, even if you had to get on some Tupac shit and become a workaholic in the studio and, you know, just give them a bunch of, you know, bullshit ass albums or whatever, you know what I mean? Not bullshit albums, but, you know, just run through some shit and hurry up and fulfill the contract, and, you know, that might be what you had to do. But this wasn't the way to go about it. And see, like I said, back to the evolution and the growth, looking at it from his father's perspective, right? You know, because I'm a father, and if I have a son that, you know, can potentially be signed, you know, see, this is the beautiful thing. This is why this is a prime example of shit, right? Like, if you look at the NWA movie, which was based on a true story, obviously, when Jerry Heller presented them with them contracts, the only one who had some sense in that situation was Ice Cube. Ice Cube was the only one that was like, well, hold on, let me see first, you know. They waved that $70,000 check in front of them, and they some young dudes from the hood, so they ain't never seen that kind of money at one time. But Cube understood its value, though. Cube had some sense because Cube had his father in his life. Cube came from a solid family background. You know what I mean? Maybe not wealthy, but, you know, with principles and morals. So Cube wasn't just in a hurry to sign the contract as a young. He probably was 17, 18 at the time. 19 at the most. He wasn't in no hurry to sign that contract. You know, he's like, hold on, let me think about this first. And once he understood what Jerry Heller wanted him to sign, he didn't sign that shit. Right? Now, I don't know the intimate details of the story, but I would imagine that Cube took that contract back to his father and was like, Pops, what you think I should do? And I would imagine that his father probably took the contract to a lawyer, and the lawyer was like, this is what it is. The lawyer explained it to him, and then from there it was like, okay, you can sign the shit if you wish. That's just like, speaking of this shit, right? As I'm explaining this shit, it reminds me of myself. When I was young, right? I was in a rap group with my homies. And we had a management company that wanted to sign us to a management deal, right? I don't remember about the homies, but I know me. I took the contract to my father, and my dad had this dude that he knew that was a lawyer. And we went over there to the lawyer's crib. He stayed over there by Long Beach State College. I'll never forget. We went over there to the lawyer's crib. The lawyer read the contract, broke shit down to us. You know what I mean? And we went from there. Right? But my pops didn't just let me just, you know, sign this contract. And matter of fact, I don't even think I was even old enough to sign a contract at that time. I think I might have still been like 16 or 17 or something. But the bottom line is I had my pops there. And my pops didn't let me just sign some bullshit. We went to go to that lawyer so the lawyer could break down to us from a legal aspect what I was potentially signing or what we was going to potentially sign, right? So back to Pooh Sheisty. If he did sign a fucked up contract, I'm looking at his father because they obviously got a relationship. It ain't like his father is MIA, he a deadbeat or something. No, him and his father got a relationship. So, you know, I would imagine Pooh Shiesty was probably 20, 21 when he signed that contract, something like that. The pops was supposed to look at that contract first and then take it to a lawyer and say, hey, you know, go from there. Once you understand what it is, okay, or, you know, once you take it to a lawyer, you know, amend the contract and take it back to Gucci and say, hey, man, you know, we didn't really like this part of the contract, but we willing to agree to this. You know what I mean? Let's see if we could, you know, put the Jermaine Dupri Puff Daddy remix on this contract and make it to where it makes sense for both of us and not just you. Right? This is where game come into play. But we know that Pooh Shiesty's father didn't do that from the beginning when the contract was first presented because look how stupid he is now. As you grow older, you're supposed to get smarter and wiser. If he's dumb enough to do this right now, that means he was probably even dumber back then when the contract was signed. So, needless to say, man, game was totally absent in this equation. Game was totally not present. Nobody was using their brain. Nobody was thinking. Man, y'all tripping, man. You mean to tell me it's 246 of y'all up in here, but only 165 of y'all done wiped your feet off at the door? Boy, y'all disrespectful, man. Come on, man. Wipe your feet off at the door. Hit that like button. And remember, you heard that shit from me first, man, because every time I look up somebody stealing my shit, and speaking of Puff Daddy Jermaine Dupri remixes, man, they stealing my wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain and putting the remix on that shit, man. But y'all know that shit came from me, man. All these plagiarists out here commit plagiarism against this ism, you dig? But yeah, man, like I said, Pooh Shiesty, he's a grown man. So as a grown man, you got to be held accountable for your actions. But I can't fault him completely because I'm looking at his father. Like, dude, you come from a time where you was around in the 80s and 90s when shit was going on a certain type of way. And, you know, having come from that time to move this foolishly, what's wrong with you? I wish I could, like, get inside his father's head. Nah, because that shit might contaminate this pimping, you know what I mean? I don't want to go up inside no head like that, you know what I mean? Because, you know, might be some shit up in there, man. Might be some bullshit inside his brain, man, that might contaminate this pimping, man. So, but I just really would like to understand what if he had any kind of thought process, what was it? Like, did you think about anything before y'all did it? But see, again, this is my people. Black people, this is what we do. You know, when you feel like somebody doing your son wrong, you want to get aggressive. You know what I mean? That's what the mamas do. That's what the women do, man. You know, as a man, you're supposed to involve some game in whatever it is that you're doing. You know, now if this was Pooh Shiesty and his mama doing all this shit, you know, I can understand. Because it's a woman, you know, women do women shit. Women get emotional. They get emotionally overwhelmed. And they react in this type of way. But as a father, as a man, this shit is crazy. You might as well have been his mama. You supposed to be his father, but you moving like his mama. Shit crazy. Man, just zero game. What if they beat the case? Now, see, that's the thing, right? Speaking of beating the case, I can't see it. But I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. I'm not a juror. I'm not a defendant, and I'm not a plaintiff in this situation. So, you know, I can't see a W for them, right? But the thing is, this is what you got to keep in mind. A lot of times, because see, it's 2026. And what a lot of people don't think about is just like civilians are stupid, you got law enforcement that's stupid too. It's just in most cases, the civilian is the more foolish of the two. And not just that, but if you have civilians on this side, law enforcement on this side, and they equally as foolish, the law enforcement has the leverage of technology, right? In the civilian, you could use technology as leverage yourself, but again, everybody's stupid. But the technology is going to naturally favor law enforcement. That's why I said the dude, he was talking about, yeah, I'm so proud of the work they did and how fast they did it. They didn't do no hell of a job. They got some hell of a technology. Technology make everybody seem like, you know, they could fly like Superman. Technology make everybody seem like they could run like the Flash. You're not that talented. You're not that smart. You're not that great. You have great technology. But I say all of that to say, just like you have foolish law enforcement people, they make mistakes. They do thirsty, stupid shit too. They do Pooh Sheisty ass shit too. So it is possible that in this situation, as crazy as it looks, it is possible that law enforcement could have made some mistakes that could play in the favor of Pooh Sheisty, his father, and all of the homies that was there. It's possible because it happens all the time. You have people that unalive people, clearly unalive people. Everybody know they unalived the person, but they still beat the case. O.J. Simpson is the most famous case that we know of that allegedly, supposedly. Everybody believed that O.J., you know, unalived Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. Everybody believed that's what happened, but O.J. still beat that case. And it's a lot of, you know, cases where people get unalived and, you know for sure this person did it, but they end up beating the case. So it is possible that they you know, I ain't going to say it's impossible. It's definitely a possibility. It's a slim chance though. Right? That's just like with Puffy. Everybody thought Puffy was going to get convicted of all them charges. And he probably did do some of the shit that he got found not guilty on. But the prosecutors made a lot of mistakes. Fortunately for Puffy. Because I don't think Puffy should be in jail right now. That's just me. I think the only thing Puffy is guilty of is being an extreme ass freak. But is he a criminal? I mean, you know, that's, some people might say yes, some people might say no. I just think he an extreme freak. And I don't think you should be in the penitentiary just for being an extreme freak. But yeah, man, it is a possibility. You never know, man. I done seen that happen with, it's people that I know personally that they was in some sticky situations and they beat that shit, man. You know, so things happen. You know, you can't just always count somebody out, especially because of the way things look. If you pay attention, man, the feds ain't, I don't know, man. Like I said, people are stupider. People are dumber nowadays than ever. And the feds are a part of people. So, I don't know, man. To me, the feds, they don't look as sharp as they used to look back before. You know what I mean? The feds ain't got their shit together like they used to, I don't think, man. I think the feds kind of like, you know, they got some loose ends going on, man. You know, like with the Puffy situation. You know, and then they did some dirty shit and convicted him of something that he really shouldn't have been convicted of because they lost. You know, so they had to face some kind of way and convict him of something, you know, so it could look like a W. But with that Puffy situation, the feds really took an L. You know, because they really wanted Puffy to get that 30 years like R. Kelly, you know what I mean? They really wanted him to get, you know, they really wanted him to spend the rest of his life in that thing. That's what they really wanted for Puff. So because they attempted that and didn't get that, it was a high-profile L for them. And they tried to save a little face by getting a conviction and giving him a few years. But you never know. Same shit could happen with this Pooh Sheisty situation. You just never know. You know? They got a lot of other situations pending too. Lil Durk, Yella Beezy. It's a whole lot of rappers and shit locked up right now, man, that it might look ugly for. But, you know, even though that wasn't a federal situation, they took an L with Young Thug. That's another situation where they thought they was going, you know, they just had it. And when you heard all the evidence against Young Thug, you just knew he was going to lose that shit. But Young Thug walking around on the streets right now. So you just never know, man. You know, the feds have this intimidating reputation when it comes to convictions. Oh, they got a 98% conviction rate, man. And you know the feds, boy, they be having their shit together, man. When the feds come get you, man, it's over with. That's what it seemed like, but it don't always work out that way. They people too, and like I said, the feds, they be on Instagram too, just like you. The feds be on TikTok just like you. You know what I mean? Of course, they probably, you know, because of their job and reputation and things like that, you know, they can't do everything they want to do. But the feds be doing little stupid TikTok dances at home just like you. They people just like you. They addicted to social media just like you. So they got a short attention span just like you. You know? So with that being said, they're human beings and they make mistakes just like you. Now, you know, I don't wish this on Pooh Sheisty, but it's like I can't feel sorry for him, especially with his father being involved in the age that he is, the era that he come from. This shit is crazy, man. But like I said, see, the bottom line is, you know, when you have issues like this, Game has to be involved. Game was nowhere in the mix. Nobody was using their brain. Everybody left their brains in Memphis. Did not one person get on that highway from Memphis, drive to Dallas, and take their brain with them. Everybody left their brain in Memphis. So, needless to say, there was no Game involved, man. You know, but as we say, man, take the Game with you. Wherever you go, whatever you're doing, take the Game with you. Because the Game is going to save you. The Game is the best protection that you can have on you when you out moving around. Not that Draco. Not any of them other weapons. The Game. Because if Pooh Shiesty has some game involved, if his father has some game involved, one, they wouldn't be locked up right now because they never would have went to go do the dumbass shit that they did. And then two, they could have came up with a better solution to get out that contract. you know. But he didn't want to work because, you know, either Gucci Mane wanted him to do certain things to get out that contract, or, you know, money talks. I'm pretty sure it's a certain amount of money that he could have came with to Gucci and been like, look, man, take this bread, man. Let me out this contract, man. Or what's it going to take? How much you need, man? What I got to get up to get out this contract, man? Work with me, man. Be reasonable with me, man. You know, we done some good business together, man. So you got to come with some game. Gucci a nigga, man. He not no, you know, no white man or no other ethnicity that, you know, that you can't relate to in certain ways. It's a nigga, man. Gucci is a nigga. So you supposed to be able to reason with him a certain type of way. You know, even though y'all not from the same hood, y'all both come from the hood and you got similar backgrounds. So y'all can relate to each other on a level that most people can't relate on, right? So it ain't like, you know, you coming to some stranger or, you know, coming to somebody that you don't resonate with. This is Gucci, man, and you Pooh Sheisty, man. Y'all some hood niggas, man. So y'all should be able to work something out. You should have been able to come to Gucci with some game. But you wasn't thinking about no game, though. You thinking about making this grown man do something that he don't want to do. You think about making this grown man do whatever you want him to do, and you going to force him to do it. And this ain't just any grown man. This is Gucci Mane. A high-profile rapper, famous rapper, been famous for a long time. Of all people you choose to do this to, you do this to him. You know? But see, like I said, man, it's just a lot to be learned from this, man, because this is a classic example of everything what not to do. You know, game is supposed to be involved. Game is supposed to be utilized. You know? That's why when you raise your kids, man, you got to give them an appreciation for game early on so that when they grow up and they make decisions, they don't think to do shit in an aggressive way. They don't think aggression is the solution right away. That's not their first choice. How can I apply game in this situation? Right? Game work wonders, man. Game move mountains. Game do shit that you wouldn't believe. Game does amazing shit. So why not use the game? Game is going to work way better than that Draco, man. Game is going to work way better than, you know, you pushing niggas around and taking jewelry and all this old type of shit. See, because at that point now you're going overboard. Bad enough that you allegedly held this man at gunpoint, made him sign this release form to get you out that contract. On top of that, you're going to strip the man? And then your homies is going to strip his people? And then post the shit on social media? Like, goddamn. Just to forcing him to sign a contract, that's terrible as it is. On top of that, y'all just going to, like, and then the father is just sitting back just watching all this shit or partaking in it. He's there while all of this is going down. And then you're doing this to a white man, law enforcement. Outrageous. Now, you know, it's a lot of criticism going on with Gucci as well. Let me see. Because I don't like to just, you know, talk about certain shit without evidence. Actually. Hold on. Give me just a second, man. Y'all still ain't got the likes over 200, man. It's 228 of y'all in here, only 199. Okay, now we at 200. About time, man. Y'all dragging y'all feet, man. We should have been probably at 300 by now with the likes. At least we at 200 though, man. But we gonna check something out real quick. Pull this shit up real quick. Give me just a second. Damn, where's that shit at? Damn. Trying to remember where this shit is at, man. I know I got it on here. Okay. Let's take a look, man. Damn fool. Okay, so let's take a look. Now, let's cut to the chase real quick. Damn, how do I? Okay. Okay, so let's go to victims. Oop. Okay, so these are the victims, right? RD, MM, and BP, right? These are the victims. Now, just so we don't leave any, so we leave less room for error, let's see what Gucci Mane's government name is. Okay, here's Gucci Mane. So Gucci Mane's government name is Roderick Davis, right? Roderick Davis. Roderick begins with an R, Davis begins with a D. So Gucci Mane's initials to his government name are RD, right? Now, one of the victims is RD, so it's safe to say that Gucci Mane is RD because RD allegedly was made to sign that release form. Sign that release form for, Lontrell Williams Jr., which is AKA Pooh Sheisty. It don't say it right here, but oh wait, no, it doesn't say it right there. But Junior, Lontrell Williams Jr., we know that's Pooh Sheisty, right? So now we know that one of the victims is RD, which is safe to say is Gucci, right? Now let's go to let's just put in the word describe. Let's see what pops up in this paperwork once we put describe, right? Now, okay. Okay, so MM is the white boy, allegedly, right? And RD, which is safe to say is Gucci Mane, described. We typed in the word described, and this is what pops up. MM and RD described Williams Jr. as wearing a black Nike brand Sheisty mask, black hooded shirt, and black pants during the offense. An online search of Williams Jr. matched the individual depicted throughout at Pooh Sheisty. So it's saying here that Gucci described. Let's see what else shows up when we look at described. Okay, Gucci ain't on the described right here. RD ain't in this description. Let's go to some more described. Described. People out here describing shit, man. Shit crazy, man. People out here describing things, man. Let's go to identify. Wait. Oh. Let's just put it identif, just in case it's identify or identified. So, identified. I don't see RD nowhere right there. And see this guy right here, he got the right name, damn fool. BP was pushed onto the couch in the control room while an individual known to BP as CMO Damn Fool and part of William Jr.'s crew, later identified as Rogers, searched his pockets and stole his wallet. BP's chain and neck. Oh, wait, I'm tripping. Maybe BP is the white boy. I don't know. But whatever the case, Damn Fool stole all the shit, wore the shit, went on social media, posted pictures of the shit, and had the same shoes on that he was wearing at the crime scene. Yeah, he's a damn fool. He got the right name. Now, let's keep going through identified. These boys left fingerprints on cups. Okay. Let's check this out. Identification of the target suspects through Instagram. Okay. MMBP and RD all personally knew Williams Jr. by both his legal name and the name under which he performs, Pooh Sheisty. So, how do they know that these people all knew Pooh Sheisty personally? Must have been because they let it be known that they knew him. So, it's safe to say that RD, which is safe to say is Gucci Mane, let it be known that he personally knew Pooh Sheisty. He told the police that, right? Then he described him. Now we describing shit. You know what I mean? He described him. And then here we go with the identified word again. MMBP and RD all identified right. Which right I think was, I can't remember if that, I don't know which one that is. But anyway, you know, you got Gucci Mane right here, you know, safe to say is Gucci Mane identifying this right individual. A well-known hip-hop artist, oh, that's Big 30. also known as Big 30. So Big 30 is the one who went to go do this shit with his father's Hellcat. The Hellcat that was registered in his father's name. Might be his shit, but registered in his father's name. I know when I was young, I used to register cars in my dad used to register cars in his name, you know, when I was young. So he might be doing the same shit. But MMBP and RDR identified Wright, a well-known hip-hop artist, also known as Big 30, as present during the offense. So RD, which is safe to say is Gucci Mane, is letting the people know that Big 30 was there when all this shit took place. MM and RD identified his Instagram account as CEO Big 30, which is verified by Instagram. The account contains photos of Wright with Williams Jr., Waters, and investigators located a Facebook account associated with Wright depicting him with Williams Jr. and Waters. So this is all of them together, you know what I mean? Big 30, the dude, Waters, whoever Waters is, and Pooh Sheisty. Okay. Let's see if there's any more identifying going on. The victims, which one of the victims, oh wait, no, we already looked at this part, I think. Yeah, we seen all of that. We went over that already. It's a whole lot of identifying going on, man. Excuse me if I get this identifying shit mixed up, man. There's so much identifying going on, man. And describing. There's so much describing and identifying going on, man. Damn, this word identified. Shit in there heavy. Okay, so, but it's safe to say that Gucci Mane identified, you know, certain people. He identified Pooh Shiesty. He identified Big 30, right? So now it's a lot of buzzing going on. Did Gucci Mane snitch? Did he not snitch? Whatever, right? See, people do things based on what their definition of something is, right? So if you in your mind have a definition of a certain thing, then you're going to base your actions based on what you believe that definition is, right? So with that being said, a lot of people have different definitions of what snitching is. So they move based on what their definition of snitching is. So a lot of people do things that some people think is considered snitching, while other people will say it's not snitching, right? My definition of snitching is very simple. Snitching is helping those people do their job. That's it. It's a whole lot of different ways you can help them people do their job. You don't have to get on the stand to help them people do their job. You don't have to dial 911 to help them people do their job. You don't have to give a written statement or testimony to help them people do their job. It's a whole lot of different ways that you can help those people do their job. But when you're helping them do their job, that's snitching, period. See, me, I've never helped them people do their job, and I never will help them people do their job. I'm not helping them do their job. Even when I got shot, I didn't help them people do their job. So, you know, that's it, right? So, what do y'all think? Would y'all say that Gucci Mane helped them people do their job? RD, Roderick Davis. Gotta be Roderick Davis. You know, The only combination of initials in there. And then let's go to, let's just put in the word sign. Because they say he, see there, RD's music label. Williams Jr. is a hip hop artist known as Pooh Sheisty and has been signed to a recording contract for RD's music label 1017. We already know who owns the label 1017, so you know it's a safe bet to say that RD throughout this whole paperwork is Gucci Mane, right? So that's like the confirmation right there. I want to read the part where he made him sign that paperwork though. Where is that at? Let me see. This shit is crazy, man. Inside the control room, Williams Jr. produced purported contract termination or release paperwork from a bag and told RD to sign. When RD declined, Williams Jr. became agitated and the pair started to argue. MM and BP could see inside the recording room and initially believed RD and Williams Jr. to be discussing business, but as MM saw the conversation intensifying, he texted CW, who was still in the music studio's lobby. I don't know who CW is. I'm kind of guessing I don't know if that's a security guard. Probably so. But anyway, as the argument inside the recording room ensued, Williams Jr. instructed Wright to go get his bag. So Wright is Big 30. So Pooh Shiesty tell Big 30, man, go to the car, get my bag, man. This nigga don't want to listen. All right, man, go get my bag. Crazy. Wright complied, leaving the recording room before returning with a bag. Williams Jr. then pulled what appeared to be a black AK-style pistol from the bag and pointed it at RD, demanding again that RD sign the contractual release paperwork. Shit crazy. RD complied. I bet you he did comply with that Draco to him, signing the paperwork for Williams Jr. while Williams Sr. and Wright stood by. RD was not allowed to leave the recording room while he was held at gunpoint by Williams Jr. This shit is crazy. So the father in Big 30 is standing right there while Pooh Shiesty is nigga sign that shit. The father, man, that's crazy. This is where it gets even more Pooh Shiesty, more stupid. Wright pulled out a cell phone and purported to record RD signing the paperwork while being forced to say that he released Williams Jr. from their contract. After the quote-unquote release was signed, Williams Jr. took RD's wedding ring, watch, earrings, and cash. This is sad, man, because, you know, like I said, I can't feel bad for Pooh Shiesty, man. And I hate to see this type of stuff because you got young, talented people, man, that will be much better suited for that type of opportunity and would have went about things in a much better, more civilized, professional way, gamed up way. You know? So, you know, everybody talking about free Pooh Shiesty and all this shit, man, and Gucci Mane snitched. Hey, as far as Gucci Mane, you know, helping the people do their job, it ain't too much that surprises me nowadays, man. You know, and I don't know. It just ain't too much that surprises me nowadays. You know, so Gucci Mane helping them people do their job, it don't surprise me. I know everybody looking at his reputation and things that he done in the past, but, you know, a lot of people change as they get older in ways that some of us don't change. Like me, I ain't changed in that type of way, and I can't see myself changing that type of way where I think it's okay to help the people do their job. I just can't see it. So, man, I don't even I can't look at Gucci with the same type of magnifying glass that I look at Pooh Sheisty and his father, mainly his father. Out of everybody in this situation, I'm looking at Pooh Shiesty's father crazy because it's like, dude, how you involve yourself in something like this with your son, this successful rapper. Shit crazy, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But again, if you ain't wiped your feet off at the door when you step to a pimp's domain, please do so now. Hit that like button, man. Let's see. Got some super chats to shout out. Ray Gunn, good looking with the $5 holla. Oh, boys. Ray Gunn, you stupid. RP Sin. Bros at 99K. Let's get him to 100K by the summer. Oh, yeah, that's going to happen by the summer for sure, Ray Gunn. Which, yeah, Sinful to P is less than 1,000 subs away from 100,000. Bro need like 900 something subscribers to get to that 100,000 and get to that plaque, you dig? So yeah, man. Bro about to be there in just a minute. And you know we gonna celebrate big when bro get there. Joe Blast, as always, good looking with the $5 holla. Respect, Freeze. Respect to you as well. I appreciate you. Savant P, good looking with the 20 twin nigga. The $20 holla. You dig? Appreciate you, man. I just need one dub. Good looking with the $20 holla. Blessings to this game. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate y'all for coming through, showing and pimping some love, man. Okay, exposing the truth. I'm actually glad Freeze reading the paperwork out. Now everyone, including myself, has a true understanding on what's going on. Yeah, man, you know, I know a lot of people ain't really reading the paperwork like that, and then they not giving you the right type of understanding about this shit, man. That's why I had to get on here and kick this shit, man. But the bottom line, if you don't take anything away from this, or if you do take anything away from this, the one thing that I want you to take away from me chopping it with y'all right now is that, man, take the game with you. Involve game in everything that you do, because the game is going to save you. The game is going to save you from making these type of decisions and putting yourself in this type of situation. You know, because just think about it. If game was involved, game wouldn't allow you to think to do some shit like that, because you know it's not going to work. If you think before you move and you think to yourself and say, you know what, man, I'm going to force Gucci Mane to sign these release papers to get me out my contract. You know what? That's going to work. That's what I'm going to do. If you have that thought, the game is going to tell you like, no, that will never work. It's not going to work. And then let alone all the other variables that factor into how foolish and how Pooh Shiesty this shit was. The game, if you're operating with game, and you taking the game with you everywhere you go and you involve in game in everything that you do, game is not going to allow you to do some dumbass shit like that. Game is going to prompt you to think of a better solution to that situation. So take the game with you, man. You know, game is going to have you out here in this free world. Game is going to have you out here, you know, enjoying life and having your way with life. Game is going to have you out here, you know, if you're a young man, you know, fucking with some badass bitches. And if you're a young lady, you know what I mean, having your way with life too. Game is just beneficial in so many different ways, man, in every aspect of your life. You know, the game is blessing me abundantly right now. I'm on a 7-day fast. I'm in day 5, and I'm not hungry. I'm not starving because there's so much game involved in this shit. And on top of that, within me fasting and everything like that, it enhances the game. It intensifies the game. Man, for those of y'all who never done a fast, man, I highly recommend it. It's beneficial in so many different ways, man. Now, if it's stages to get to this point. I didn't just wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm gonna do a 7-day fast. No, it's stages to this shit, right? And this game involved, right? But so if you want to get to a point where you can do a 7-day fast with ease like me, because like I said, I ain't had no food this month. Last food I had was in March. We on April 5th. Last food I ate was March 31st. And it's a breeze for me. It ain't, it's not, you know, no hunger pains. I'm not like got a headache because I ain't ate nothing. Oh man, can't wait to eat. Oh man, damn, shit, man, I want some food bad. You know, I done sat in front of my partners and watched them eat food. Don't even be tempted. You know what I mean? Cool. It's game involved, you know what I mean? And one thing game helps you with is discipline. But like I said, to get to this stage where you want to do a 7-day fast, man, if you want to get to that point, before, you know, getting that far, I advise you to work on cutting back on your carbs. Because that's the key to it. The reason why I'm not hungry right now, the reason why I can go 5 days without food and not be like feeling like I'm starving to death is because I don't really eat carbs like that. I don't eat bread. I don't eat rice. Potatoes every once in a while, but not really. I don't eat dairy. You know, I'm cool. I don't eat pasta, tortillas, none of that shit. Donuts, cookies. I don't eat that type of shit. So because I don't eat that type of stuff, I don't get those hunger cravings that those things bring on to you. When you eat all that type of shit, man, that's what makes you hungry. And that's how people get fat, because they eating the shit that's making them crave food when they should be satisfied. See, when you eat protein, when you eat vegetables and things like that, once you get satisfied, you don't want to keep eating. But when it comes to like them heavy carbs, once you're supposed to be satisfied, you want, you know, those carbs give you those cravings, so you want to keep eating. But that's the first thing I advise you to do, is cut back on them carbs. Then once you cut back on them carbs, then you can get to the point where, you know, you minimizing the amount of times that you eat within a day. You know, because most of us as Americans, man, we eat at least 3 full meals a day. And then on top of them 3 full meals a day that we snacking in between 3 or 4 times a day. So most of us are eating 6 or 7 times a day, and that ain't cool for an abundance of reasons. But once you cut back on the carbs, then try to minimize the amount of times that you eat within a day. If you eat 3 full meals a day plus snacks in between, see if you can cut back on them snacks first and just narrow it down to just the 3 meals without snacks in between, to where you're eating 3 times a day. Then once you get comfortable with that, step it up, see if you get to 2 times a day. Then once you get used to 2 times a day, step it up, see if you can get used to eating 1 time a day. right? Then once you get used to eating once a day, you could do a 3-day fast. Then once you accomplish that 3-day fast and see how surprisingly easy it is because you don't eat a whole bunch of heavy carbs, you'd be like, damn, you know what? If I could do 3, I know I could do 5 days. Then you do the 5-day fast. You see how much of a breeze that shit is, and then you like, damn, you know what? If I could do 5, I know I could do 7. These are all the things that I did personally. First, I cut back on the carbs. Then I, got used to eating twice a day. Then I got used to eating once a day. Then I did a 3-day fast. Then a 5-day fast. Now I'm doing a 7. This is my first 7-day fast, and it's a breeze. So, yeah, man. But that's game, though. It's a lot of game involved in this shit, man. And, the combination of game and discipline, it's going to keep you from making dumbass, Pooh Sheisty ass decisions like Pooh Sheisty and his father be doing, man. Hold up. Wait a minute. Digital. Good looking with the $5 holler on Cash App. You dig? GAME 100. Man, Digital, I appreciate you with the Cash App contribution. You dig? Yeah, man. But like I said, if you are to take one thing away from this whole live stream and this whole Pooh Shiesty situation, how stupid they are, and that's all they saying is how stupid they are. It's obvious how stupid they are, but what should they have done? They should have took the game with them. What should they have done? They should have applied some game. They should have been operating in the spirit of game, because if they had been, they wouldn't be in the situation that they're in right now, and they probably would have figured out a better solution to get out of that contract, and they would either be working to get out of the contract right now, or they would already be out of the contract and still had a freedom. Right? So apply game, man. Take the game with you. You dig? But yeah, man, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing on up. As always, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and tapping in with a pimp. I appreciate all the questions, comments, input, feedback, jokes, all that good stuff. I appreciate you for sharing this video. I appreciate you for liking this video. I appreciate you for subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell when you subscribe. Oh, man, and the new shit I keep forgetting to tell y'all about too, man. Make sure you hype the video as well, man. And if you have hyped the video, I appreciate you for hyping the video. I appreciate all the super chats, the Cash Apps, the PayPals. I appreciate your support in every which way that it comes with it, man. Y'all already know who it is and what it is. Freeze is it. If you're out in traffic moving around, please do so in a safe fashion. And of course, as always, long live the incomparable Sinful to P. About to hit that 100,000 subscribers and get that plaque, you dig? We out.